Did you ever have a situation where you had the feeling that time was standing still, and even though the whole world was moving around you, you had the idea that time didn't exist anymore? Yeah, maybe that was, it can have been a very beautiful moment, but it can also have been a very shocking moment. Yeah, I can remember myself a very beautiful moment where just everything was going around and I was just there, uh, and seemed like time didn't exist. But what happens in life, to everybody, it's happening. You can say it happens that there are situations where you are confronted with a situation that you don't know how to deal with it, and you have this big shock. Yeah, it could be an accident, and it could be a violent situation or abuse, different situations where all of a sudden you feel like you are not anymore part of yourself. Yeah? That time has stopped and a part of you is blocked. And it's in these situations where we don't know how to deal with it. We can, when we are confronted with something that's very heavy, very difficult, we can run away. We can fight, yeah, or we can freeze. And yeah, as an adult, many times you go away. Maybe you fight, especially if you are a bit stronger, you might fight. But as a small kid, normally what is the reaction is that the kids gets it's freezing. Yeah, it's just paralyzed. And so what happens in those moments, or this is how I see the world at least, is at such a moment, when you have such a situation what you can't deal with, you freeze, but or part of you gets blocked there and it stays there, and the rest of your life, your being is continuing. Yeah, so you can still breathe, you can still watch, you can still look, and all the basic functions of life continue. But somehow time stopped at that event, and a part of you or part of me is just there at that event while the rest continues. And this is a bit the situation, what we are looking to with matrix reimprinting. It is that we are going to those moments where a person was stopped, yeah, where it was still standing. And it's, yeah, well, it's very funny to realize that we have like many of those moments that stopped around us. They are with us, so this, it's like at that moment it's like a separation from yourself. It's like a part is split off, and it accompanies you all your life until that you have the moment to resolve this situation. And that can be just because you have a better insights in life and the world, or you became stronger, whatever. But when you resolve it, then it's gone, and this this part where the time was stopped will be joining you. And that is what we do with matrix reimprinting. We go, let's say, back to this moments to accompany the younger person or the situation in a different way, so that mm, the situation that the person at that moment couldn't deal with, that it's resolved. And yeah, that might sound very abstract for you, but if you remember, maybe you have had an accident, you can imagine at this moment you can still be really in this experiment, and you can accident, and you can still experiment it. And with matrix reimprinting, what we do is we don't go and experiment the accident, but we accompany the person at that moment. And after it is resolved, you can still remember the accident, but you don't really feel like you're back in the situation, because that part of you is then integrated in your normal life again. So yeah, it is just a short explanation on a part of what we are working with. So that's also why we are talking about the younger self very often. And it's like at a younger stage, something has happened that made time stand still. And until you are able to help this situation, time will still stand still. And that's the more of those situations you have had, the more difficult is life, because a big part of you is not present in the moment. It's still somewhere else. So, and that's also what we see in matrix reimprinting, or what I see when I do matrix reimprinting. Then there's all the time people are triggered to other moments because they are still around. Those other moments are still present until you resolve them. So this was, yeah, just a short opening of on uh, this of matrix reimprinting. So if you know that you have had difficult situations that you were not you couldn't deal with at the moment, at that moment, then matrix reimprinting can be a tool to resolve that. And it can be for very big things, and it can also work for very small things. Sometimes things seem small and they result to be big, and the big things sometimes they result to be very small. So I'd like to yeah, motivate you to have a look into yourself using matrix reimprinting or EFT. Just discover a new world that is in you and around you. See you.